All right, everybody, we're going to try and install Anaconda and Python and Spider. We're going to try and do it on the first go. So let's see what we got. I'm actually on a student computer. Student. Yeah. You can see all the things that I type incorrectly. Don't want to go to the cloud. We don't want the snake. Come on. So let's go to Windows, install, download the Anaconda installer. Your data science school toolkit. All right. Is open source. We want to do 64-bit, not 32-bit. Back in the old 32-bit days. Don't know how long it's going to take you guys. So anyway, this year's going to be exciting. We're going to start off with Python for a couple of weeks. And then, so definitely one of the first things I want to do today is write some Python code, at least a hello world kind of thing, and make sure Spider works, which is going to be our IDE. The nice thing about the Spider IDE, especially for data science, is it's the variable explorer is amazing. So you can really see two-dimensional arrays just really, really nicely. And we're going to be doing a lot of matrix kind of stuff this year. All right, so just double click on the .exe to install, hit next. We're going to say yes, 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 yes. I don't have admin privileges, so I guess it's just going to be for me. And we are going to try Python 3.8. There have been some issues with Keras in Python 3.8, but evidently if you install TensorFlow first before you install Keras, you should be okay. But we're actually not going to use Keras for another couple of months. Let's see how this works. And Keras, so we're actually going to be writing a lot of the actual code that the kind of code that TensorFlow actually a lot of it does for you, but we're going to get our hands dirty and actually write the code to do gradient descent and actually have the artificial intelligence, the machine learning algorithms. We're going to write the machine learning algorithms that actually create the models that get converged to. We'll talk a lot more about that here in a minute, in the next few weeks, next month. So Anaconda, sorry. So I guess I should talk about Anaconda. All Anaconda does is we're going to use lots of different types of software libraries like TensorFlow, which is written by Google, and Spider, which is open source, and Python. And what Anaconda does is it makes sure that all the versions of the different pieces of software work. So like one of the issues we had last year was Keras could only work with Python 3.7 and now works with Python 3.8. But if you tried to install Keras and you only had Python and you had Python 3.8, it would just say you can't do that because Keras needs Python 3.7. So That's the wonderful thing about Anacondas. It does. You might have seen, some of you guys might have seen like pip install kind of stuff. That's what Anaconda does. It does the right installs and it figures that you don't have to do any of the command line crap. So it will automatically keep track of everything. All right. So it looks like Anaconda's installed. Let's see if we can't. Hopefully we don't have to restart and just get it going. So the way you can get to it, I would highly recommend you adding it to your start bar down here. I don't think we need the store. And then just double click on it. So really Anaconda is just kind of your software manager. It's gonna install everything for you. So let's go in there and look at the software that we want to install. Once it starts up. All right. You know, last year it says, okay, don't show again. I click this every time, and for whatever reason, there we go. For whatever reason, it kept doing this stupid pop-up every time anyway. What we're going to use, we're actually not going to use Jupyter Notebooks that much. We may use a little bit of Orange 3 later on, but really what we want for right now is, I think it automatically installed Python. So let's go ahead and install Spider. And make sure this runs. Ooh. Yeah. Spider got much better last year, by the way. You can install Kite if you want. It's basically a linter, which basically gives you ideas on what to code. It helps you figure out what code you can write. It gives you suggestions. If you want to, you know, it might just make it more confusing at the beginning. So if you don't want to install Kite, that's okay too. I didn't use it that last year at all, so you don't necessarily have to install it. Yeah. You can always turn Kite off later if you'd like. So that's not a big deal. So I told you the variable explorer is really what we're going to want to be using. And go ahead and stop this for a little bit. Let's pause it. Can. Oops. You might want to choose which editor plugins. You can do all of them if you want. Don't give them your email address. I think I'll just do Kite when I'll decide when to do Kite. All right, if you want to look at Kite, go ahead and do that. The big thing is just to make sure that you have Python installed. Let's go back. So it brings up this Kite tutorial, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to worry about that. All right, so come back over here. Let's just make sure Python's installed. Now you come up here to run it. And it runs, you can see your output down here. Cool things. Just make a little I don't know. And trying to get on a healthy kick with eating. So let's do healthy vegetables. We'll go through this after you guys get it set up. But so let's just do code. So if we wanted to walk through this piece of code, we could set a breakpoint right here. Come on, set your breakpoint. There we go. Set a breakpoint right there. Go ahead and run to that line of code. Right. And then we can run the current line, go to the next line, run the current line, go to the next line. Look at that. So the really cool thing with this is your variable explorer. So you can at any point in time see everything, see all the variables, see what types, in your arrays. It's really cool. It's really, really slick. And we're going to be using it a lot. So other than that, I think this is all installed and this is all you have to do. So that's the big thing. Just make sure it prints out before class and you should be good to go.